Coming up this week, ugly motives. Hello everyone and welcome to our Sunday spoilers, this chance that we have to anticipate what's coming up this weekend for worship. We know that when we prepare our hearts, when we prepare our minds and enter worship with this idea of expectation that God is going to do something, good things happen. We're able to see things, we're able to know things, we're able to feel things, and the more time we put into this idea of worship, the more able we are to receive who God is. And so this idea of Sunday spoilers is a chance for us to look ahead to some spoilers, just a little bit of spoilers to what we're going to be looking at on Sunday, so we can all come into Sunday being ready for that time, that amazing time of worship. We're continuing this Advent with looking at our theme of ugly Christmas sweaters and how just like we've kind of picked up on this idea of ugly Christmas sweaters, and it's kind of fun to play around with and fun to do. We can also pick up some ugly habits and some ugly patterns and some ugly behaviors and attitudes in our lives. We want to find a way to be able to get to a point where those don't look as ugly, that maybe we can be aware of those things and head them off before they get ugly. We've looked at ugly thoughts, we've looked at ugly words, and this coming week we're going to look at ugly motives. Motives are the why we do things, why we say things, why we get involved in things, why we don't get involved in things. Our motives are the thing that drives us. Our motive is the why we want to approach that situation in a certain way. And we all need motivation at times. We all need to have that's something that drives us. We need to have that reason to be able to move forward and to do something. And those motives are things that can really be really positive. That we have a big dream, we have a big desire to make our life the best that it can be. Our motive is to be the best disciple that we can be. Sometimes our motives can be a little ugly. Sometimes our motives can be something that may even cause us to do the right thing, but for the wrong reason. The text that we're going to be looking at on Sunday is Matthew 6, verses 1 through 8. And this is in the middle of the Sermon on the Mount. And the Sermon on the Mount is a time where Jesus basically lays out core fundamental ideas of what it means to be a child of God, what it means to live this life as a follower of Jesus. And he says in this section, Matthew 6, verses 1 through 8, "Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by others. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them. For your Father knows what you need before you ask Him." Now, I don't think we necessarily see ourselves doing these kinds of things. We don't necessarily see ourselves giving to the needy just to be seen. We don't see ourselves praying just to be seen. But I think there's other things that we do. I think there's a lot of times where we have ugly motives, that the reason for us doing something, oftentimes it's selfishness. We do things based on our own perspective. We base things on what we want to do and what we want to see and how we want the situation to go. So our motivation and our motive is something that helps us and affects us. We may end up doing the right thing, like these are right things, giving to the needy and praying. Those are good things to do. But if we're not doing it for the right reason, sometimes that can skew things. And that can make it so we're not really seeing what God wants us to do and who God wants us to be. So as we go into this time of worship this weekend, what are your motives? What are your motives for having faith? What are your motives for going to church? What are your motives for doing whatever it is we do? Giving gifts this season? Writing cards to each other? What are our motives for doing those things? I think it's good for us to be aware of those, to analyze those, to reflect on those, and to think on how we can always find a way to be focused on Jesus. I look forward greatly to seeing you this coming weekend in worship, whether you're in person, whether you're online. I hope to be able to experience God together with you, and I hope that we can be able to always be receiving all that God gives to us. Have a great and blessed day. We'll see you back here next time.